Hello and welcome everyone to our 18th session of Hello Casa. My name is Michael and today I will be talking to Arcesio Perdomo from Bogotá, Colombia. Arcesio has vast experience in real estate, international commercial real estate experience, and today we will be talking about especially commercial real estate. And in Colombia, I think it's a strong and very exciting intersection. Arcesio, why don't you just introduce yourself to our audience quickly?
Hi, Michael. I'm very glad to be here talking to Hello Casa. I have been in real estate for more than 8 years now. I am from Bogotá, from Colombia. I went to school in the United States, to the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and I went to do my master's, which I focus in alternative investments, including real estate, at Emory University in Atlanta. I enjoy traveling. I enjoy looking at nice architecture. I enjoy real estate, its uses, how it facilitates life to people, and as an investment. So that's basically who I am and what I do.
Great. You say you are especially having a very strong focus on commercial real estate. Tell us a little bit maybe about the particularities about commercial real estate. What is the difference between commercial real estate and normal real estate?
Yes, well, there are two main types of real estate in general, which are two main trends in real estate, which is residential real estate and commercial real estate. Residential real estate is like an apartment, a house, a condo. When we talk about commercial real estate, it takes into consideration industrial properties, office space, office buildings, hotels, retail outlets, malls, and land, which could be land for these commercial purposes or even land for multifamily space in general. Basically, the customers are a little bit different. In general, in commercial real estate, we have high net worth individuals, ultra high net worth individuals. We have corporations. We have funds, investment funds, and we have all this type of corporate real estate, which requires a different mindset, a different orientation, and also more knowledge, more legal knowledge and market knowledge than, for example, buying an apartment.
You are mentioning a lot of different parties which are involved and also potential buyers. I assume that in commercial real estate, we're also talking about like foreign direct investment, like a lot of also maybe foreign companies, corporations buying, or is that mainly domestically driven, the investors?
Well, in general, we find that when the country is open to investments, like Colombia is, a lot of foreign companies want to be here. The first thing they think about is how many people are we gonna allocate, and and what space do we need. So a lot of companies come or for warehouses or for office space. It could be up to a small office, up to a building, a small warehouse, or a huge warehouse. It depends on the nature of the company. But in Colombia, you have customers from China, from the US, from Spain, from the European Union, from UK, and in general, these places are where most of our clients are.
Okay, that means how does that work? Like, I mean, we're talking about a humongous amount of money from my personal perspective, obviously. A company says, okay, we have a lot of money to allocate, we want to invest, we want to diversify maybe also our portfolio, we want to bring some money into a different country, we want to put it into assets, we want to maybe create a project on a land, or we want to buy a supermarket or a commercial building. Then they approach you, and then how does the process work, and how do you guide the potential investor through that entire process?
Basically, there are two types of customers. The customers that are companies that are going to operate in Colombia, and they are looking to lease office space, for example. And there is the customer that is the investment fund or the high net worth individual, which looks to invest to expand his portfolio. So the first thing to do, first I have to find the client, and that you do it through networking, you do it through online ads, you do it through people that refer you, you do it through basically posting land in different websites, just as your website, and you generate the lead. After you generate the lead, you talk to the customer, you want to know what they want, you want to know what they're looking for, you want to know what type of return they want, what is their budget, and then you start looking for the property. If you don't have it, you look for colleagues, you look for other land, you start looking yourself, you go out and look for it. Basically, there are many options. Once you find the property, say you find 5 properties that may be considered by your customer, you send them, you make a nice presentation with all the economic drivers, with all the property technical feasibilities, and then you send it to the customer evaluates and tells you, hey, I want to see this one, I want to see this one, maybe have a few more questions about the space, about the returns, and once you have that, you go do the visit, which is going to look for the property, and then there comes a lot of questions, some technical, some not, some about the market, some legal. So you have to confront all these sites. So you start for the legal. For example, you do a due diligence about the titles, like exploring how is the title, if it doesn't have a lawsuit, if there is not a problem, if there is not like a embargo, which is that they owe money to somebody and you cannot sell the property. There are several studies for titles. You look to the person, you make a check that they're not in an illegal stand-up with the government, even with the US government. Then you look at the technical part of the property, that's what they're looking for. If they need to change something, maybe the property owner will be willing to do it. If not, they can assume it. Then you look at the market, which you probably already did because we had already the presentation with the location. They say they like the location, who is close, who is not close, what type of use does the land or the property has. It could be commercial, it could be for institutions, it could be for health. So you do checks, and once done, then when they say, oh, I want to try these 2 properties, or I want this property, you make like a letter of intent. So we help them do that. We pass an offer to the property owner. He examines it. He looks if he likes it or not. He makes another offer, and then we start talking. Once we're close, we get them together, and lawyers involved, which is another world. First, we negotiate commercial parts of the contract. They negotiate legal aspects, and once that is done, well, you can click, get a bottle of champagne, celebrate, and the deal is done.
Okay.
It's done.
How long does that normally take? Like this sounds like a huge process and a lot of parties involved. But I assume that you say, okay, it can vary between 3 weeks and 6 months, or what's the
what's in my experience, the fastest deal I have ever done, it takes like a month and a week. And the longest deal so far is been a little bit over a year. So it depends. It depends basically on the customer. In most cases, how fast they want to deploy the money or how fast they need the space. Or sometimes you have to convince the property owner with facts that he may not be at the right price. He may be overpriced, for example. And that's the only way to do it is through an appraisal or just showing him the market, like how it is going, the speed of deals, market research, basically. So it could be from a month and a week, because it takes time to do the contracts, or a month and a half to a little bit more than a year. It depends on the deals. But the average deal could be around, if people are decided, it could be around 4 months, 3-4 months.
You yourself, you're located in Bogotá. Tell our audience a little bit about why should someone also someone not from Colombia consider investing in Bogota and maybe even in Colombia in general?
Okay, basically in Colombia, well, there is good rights for private property. There is the tax system just changed for corporation and is favorable. Colombia is growing. It's starting to grow faster year through year. We have a good government related to investor transparency, investor security, and also because there is a big economic activity involved in tourism, involved in oil, involved in different other type of sectors. Uh, Also, the cities are growing. People are moving from the municipalities to the cities in general in Colombia. Most of the GDP of Colombia relies in Bogota. Bogota it's very hard to find land in Bogota right now. Basically have to throw houses because everybody wants to build. There is intense economic activity, and so and just because it's the center of everything, of government, of multinational corporations headquarters, and the Andean headquarters, sometimes even the headquarters for Latin America. We a known deal that is, for example, Amazon is going to open its headquarters in Bogota. I think it's for Latin America or South America.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So we have a good interest in companies coming here, and the location of Colombia geographically is very good. We're very close to the U.S. The U.S. is the major partner in Colombia commerce-wise and also investing-wise. So we have good fundamentals, and the country is developing. Why Bogota and why not another city? Because Bogota allocates talent, allocates high budget for investing. I mean, the local government has a huge budget. Also, because most of the headquarters of companies for Colombia are here, the government is here, and the government is a very powerful. So the roads are to access Bogota are pretty good. So transportation is the first place for tourism. Second is Cartagena. So there are many variables that will help make a decision about Bogota, and it's particularly safer to invest in Bogota than to invest in another small or medium city. I mean, risk-wise, it's also a good investment.
Yeah, perfect. And you also have the highly educated people and the highly educated society, and also the great lifestyle in Colombia, which is very unique, I think, on earth, of the people and of the warmth of the people, which is very special. So it's a good place to live and to enjoy the time throughout the year. Um, Concerning the your part in the real estate and also geography wise, you are not only active in Bogota itself but also in the surroundings. Tell us a little bit more about where you are active in geographically.
Well, geographically, there are many small towns that are kind of like are becoming like suburbs of Bogota. We can talk about Mosquera, Funza, Enjo, Chia, which are actually Chia, for example, is good for residential, commercial land. Funza, for example, has a very strong corridor for industrial parks, and I am managing actually right now. I have a property for sale from some customers, Calle, which is the road that goes towards Medellín. And it's basically it's the logistic heart of Bogota and warehousing. So these areas in particular are very influenced by Bogota. They are a little bit cheaper the meter square, so it helps people to make a decision. The trucks don't have to come in the city. So there are many, they have tax advantage. So it's very wise to invest outside the city too, depending on what you're looking for. Or also if you need to do manufacturing, warehousing, or you need to do industrial parts or everything related to industry. These corridors are very interesting. Mosquera, Calle or Siberia, basically.
Yeah. Coming back to your service and to your expertise concerning the commercial real estate brokerage and also the entire deal flow and the process. From your perspective, what do you think, or what would you advise any kind of investor to do before approaching a broker and making sure, okay, you are really with a reliable person? What are some hints you could give someone who is willing and might be willing to invest, maybe also as a representative of a company?
Okay, basically the most important part of looking for a broker is honesty.
Mm-hmm.
Because to a certain point you manage the communication between the property owner and the buyer, or the user. And this process is very sensitive. You have to communicate well, you have to communicate honestly, and also it's important that you know about the market and you have experience, and to a certain degree understand people and be willing to be a bridge to make things happen. So that I think those are the traits that are more important, and understand the way, put yourself in the shoes of the property owner and put yourself on the shoes of the buyer, for example. It's very important because everybody has different motivation, and to get them to a point where they can agree on something is not easy. Basically, you have to negotiate, and it's very important to negotiate honestly because there are many rooms for failures and for manipulation. So in a certain degree, that's very important. Reputation is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. In our former interviews, most of the brokers, they say, okay, you buy a property, then it goes via fiduciary. It might be the notary or financial institution. The money is put there, is frozen until it's being released once all the paperwork is being approved. Does it also work in the same way when we talk about like various millions of dollars, or is that are there double layers or double proofs which make sure that there's seriously like nothing to be afraid of?
It actually depends on the nature of the business. For example, if there is land, usually people want to do it in a fiduciary because for transparency and to prevent embargoes and to prevent if somebody of the family dies, succession is called here. So there are many safeguards also for the people that put, for example, if you're going to buy some land, the owner of the land wants to know that the money is going to come effectively, and the buyer wants to be secure that he's buying the land and that nobody else is going to go into the deal or nothing is going to happen, like somebody may really die or it gets an embargo or something happens or everything has to be clean. A fiduciary helps because they analyze the buyer and they analyze the property owner and they analyze different, and once it is in the fiduciary, there is a letter of instructions and you can pass how the deal is going to be done. Mm-hmm. So it's extra transparency, let's say like that. A little. For a big property, it's important because they charge around one minimum salary, which is like a month, which is like $300 a month. So if it's a big property, it doesn't matter. If it's a small property, well, there is no purpose of doing it.
Yeah.
So that's basically why it's done like that. Okay. So if you're buy basically land or a building. You can also do it because several investors can make a pool of money and they have not a part of the land, but they have like a stock on the land, so they can sell it anytime they want to. So it makes it easier, basically.
Okay. And you're also dealing with projects which are under construction, and this is when you were saying, because allow me my ignorance concerning the lease, the system or the concept of the lease. I'm not really aware of that. Is that when you are talking about also a project, or is that something already constructed?
When we're talking about a lease, it could be a project or it could be constructed.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's a lease, un contrato de arrendamiento. Basically, it's a lease contract. So basically, you can lease something without being built. You can lease it before, which is good for an investor because you lease it, the investor builds it, and then you already know you have your space. You already know he has his money monthly. Mm-hmm. So it's a good way. You can do it that also to lease office space, warehouse space, from a building to a small office. The only things that change are basically you can negotiate first the canon, how much are you going to pay per month. You can negotiate the increments per year. You can negotiate the time when you sign the contract and when you go inside the property. You can negotiate if you want it finished or just if you want it without ceiling or floors. There are many things you can negotiate with them. You can even negotiate the density, how many people you're going to have inside per meter square.
Okay.
Every customer is different and they have different ways of looking at it. You can negotiate periods where you don't pay because you're going to do the fixings, the adequation. So there are many things that you negotiate.
And you yourself, you focus on deals between a size of what range?
We're talking about, we start with deals that are basically in dollars. We can start for leasing. We talk about $4,000 per month to any value higher. You know, I have managed deals that are $30,000 per month. I have managed deals that are higher. I actually work as a broker for a property looking for the UN, which was looking for the mission of verification of the UN. I look for properties for them, and they were looking for a whole building. Finally, they decided to stay where they were, but we did all the process. They really had a good deal. That's why.
So
you're the only that in that deal.
So you're really used to talk to high-end people and to make like big deals.
Exactly, that's the norm of the commercial real estate.
Yeah.
I talk to the ultra high net worth. I talk to the general manager. I talk to a manager, the buyer's manager of the company. I talk to the analyst. I talk to a lot of people, to property owners. It's a different mix of people.
No, it's interesting. You have one listing on Halocasa which you would like to present. So why don't we just have a look on that one? It says Lotte para Parque Industrial en Funza. I translate that quickly to English, so you can go ahead and guide us through the property, through this
property. Is a property located in the most important industrial corridor close to Bogotá, which is Calle 80 or Autopista Medellín. This property is a collection or a collection of land lots that are together and add up to 285,000 meters square. The price per meter square is 210,000 per meter square, which gives us a total deal of almost $19 million. This land is in particularly useful for industrial space. You can do like warehousing, you can do a hotel, you can do a station, you can do everything that works for the logistic industry or manufacturing industry. Also has a use that is medium, low impact. and some high impact, which gives to, depending on the industry, they have a required use. So we can have, for example, Coca-Cola could be there, a company that makes glass, warehouses, a logistic park. So there are many uses between the industrial arena. Also, this corridor is the corridor that absorbs most warehouse space in Colombia. It also has a high vacancy because industrial space is only beginning to recover. It has the phase was going down, now it's going up. The appetite for industrial is starting to come back again. And there are billion-dollar investments on the area, huge investments by big funds. So it's a nice area to be if you're looking for industrial park, basically.
And you mentioned very interestingly the proximity to the autopista between Bogotá and Medellín. Maybe one quick comment for the people who don't know, maybe the comercio between Medellín and Bogotá. Tell us a little bit about that one. How important how important that is.
This road is not only, it's called Autopista Medellín, but it's not only about Medellín, because this connects with the road that is called the Ruta del Sol, which goes towards the coast and also can go towards the Caribbean or the Pacific coast. So you can take. So it's so important that the products that come into Bogotá or leave Bogotá are able to go to the Pacific, to the Caribbean, or to Medellín. So we have it's a really good location in any way.
Perfect, great. Thank you so much. Now, ramping up, because your time is super limited. You're already jumping to the next meeting. What we got out of this interview with you, Arcesio, is that you are an expert in commercial real estate in Colombia. You know how to deal with high net worth people and also to high end people. You have gone through it. You have the experience of 8 years. It is definitely there are a lot of reasons to invest in Colombia and also to go on commercial real estate, especially when we're talking about lotes and also lease apartments. I got to know today the concept of leasing and lease apartments. So thank you very much for that. And you gave us very interesting insights on the importance of the Autopista Medellín and the infrastructure. Now wrapping up with the interview, tell us how people can reach out to you and how can they contact you when they're interested in commercial real estate.
Well, they can do it through your website, to Halo Casa, or they can do it through my WhatsApp. My number is 312-551-7582 plus 57 on the beginning, which is for Colombia, and that's the way to reach me.
I will also put all the information in the interview and in the description so people can directly contact you. Perfect. Signor Perdomo, Arcesio, thank you very much for your time. I wish you a very good afternoon in Bogotá. I now go to sleep. It's already almost midnight here, so thank you so much, and I hope we talk soon.
Well, Michael, I am glad about this interview, and I would love to talk about other topics and other type of assets regarding real estate in future interviews. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Arcesio. Have a good evening. Bye bye.
Bye bye.